Peace and love, black family. It's the Prince of Pan-Africanism, Dr. Umar Johnson, live and direct, Jackson, Mississippi. It's been a while, but we back. I will be in the building tonight, Medgar Evers Community Center, 6 o'clock. Make sure y'all be in the building, free event. Right now, I'm at the Medgar Evers home, brothers and sisters, the Medgar Evers home. This is where one of our greatest leaders and organizers, what I like most about Medgar Evers, he was an organizer. He didn't just talk. He went into the trenches and organized. Remember, this was the only black leader when Emmett Till was murdered, who went to Money, Mississippi, and went from door to door on his own, no security or nothing, investigating the Emmett Till murder. Not even your major black leaders went to Money, Mississippi to help out with that situation. They was too afraid to do it, but Medgar Evers did it. All right, so this is a black man I got tremendous respect for, a young brother, okay, died in his 30s, died in 63. They murdered Malcolm in 65. They murdered King in 68. They got Fred Hampton in 69. So the 60s was just the decade of assassinating black leaders. So let me let y'all. So this is the home right here, Medgar Evers. Y'all know he was shot in his driveway, murdered June 12th, 1963. These are some pictures from the inside of the home. Okay, I'm assuming that's his car, the white car. A site of tragedy. The driveway and carport of the Medgar Evers family home became the site of unspeakable tragedy shortly after midnight, June 12, 1963. The aerial views show the Evers home at the very top of the photograph. It depicts an assassin. Byron D. Beckwith's car was seen earlier by witnesses at Joe's Drive-In building in the foreground on the left. Spot 2 indicates Beckwith's hiding place from which he fired the shot that killed Medgar Evers. Spot 3 indicates where Evers was standing when he was shot. The cars in the driveway are Marley Evers' Chevrolet station wagon and Medgar Evers' Oldsmobile parked behind. When Medgar arrived home late that evening, he removed some t-shirts with the slogan "Jim Crow must go" from his car. As he started toward the door of the house, he was shot in the back with a high-powered rifle. He dropped the shirts as he fell and crawled toward the door. Lower left, the bullet passed through Medgar Evers' body, crashed through the lower left pane of the living room window. The bullet tore through the Venetian blinds at the living room window and crossed the room. Lower right, the bullet pierced the wall that separates the living room from the kitchen beneath the plaque, and to the right of the light switch. It clashed through the ceramic tile above the toaster and hit the refrigerator door directly across from the stove. Then it ricocheted off the refrigerator, came to rest on the countertop to the right of the sink in the location indicated by the pin. These photographs were taken by the Jackson Police Department shortly after the murder of Medgar Evers. They're from the Bobby DeLauder collection at the Mississippi Department of Archives and History and are used through the courtesy of MDAH, brothers and sisters. This is the door where Medgar Evers was trying to enter. This is the door where Medgar Evers was trying to enter right here, brothers and sisters. So he was shot right here. This white line. Okay, I was like, is that the bloodline? Okay. So he parked here. He parked this car here. Got out. He got shot from, I'm thinking over here across the street over there where you see them bushes at. So he hit the ground. Then he crawled, y'all. Our ancestor crawled over here. Okay. And he tried to make it in. You know what? Did he make it in? I can't remember. I think they might have came out to get him after that happened, y'all. But sad, very, very sad. This building possesses national significance as the home of Medgar and Marley, both important participants in the civil rights movement. As field secretary for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Medgar was at the forefront of every major civil rights event in Mississippi. Did y'all hear that? He was at the forefront of every major civil rights event in Mississippi from 1955 until his assassination in 63. Medgar Evers' assassination in his carport forced Marley Evers into a more prominent role in the civil rights movement. United States Department of the Interior, National Park Service. So we come around here. We have another plaque on the front. The home of Medgar Wiley Evers, field secretary for the NAACP. leader in the struggle for justice and equality, born July the 2nd, murdered June 12th, 63, born in 25. He was born right before or while the most honorable Marcus Garvey was in prison for false charges. So give y'all a better view of the house. This is the home of Medgar Evers, where he lost his life. And then we have another plaque, Medgar Evers' home. Medgar and Marley Evers moved into this home with their children, Daryl and Renee, in 1955 after Medgar became Mississippi's first NAACP field secretary. Son Van was born in 60. Evers was an outspoken activist for voter registration and social justice. Just after midnight on June the 12th, 1963, he was assassinated in a driveway as he returned from a meeting. After his death, the family moved to California and deeded the home to Tougaloo College as a historic house museum. So Tougaloo still runs it? Okay, I didn't know that. I met his daughter at Baba Dick Gregory funeral, because Malcolm's daughter spoke, King's son spoke, and their daughter spoke. Give a shout out to the people, J Money.
Hey, people, come on out tonight, Medgar Evers Community Center. See you guys there.
All right.
All right.
So you know what, Jay? Hold this for me.
All right.
Because I'm going to do a little libation.
All right.
All right. And I'm going to do it under the sign. Oh, you know what? I got to tell them one more thing.
Go ahead. Turn it
Then I'm
back
going to
on
give
you,
it back. I was looking at you.
Yeah.
I got you. One other thing I want y'all to notice about the house is the windows are higher. Notice the placement of the windows on the house. The windows, Medgar Evers had the windows elevated higher than most of the other homes on the block. And the reason the windows are higher than most of the other homes on the block is he wanted to prepare for war. And what I mean by that is when the enemy would shoot into his house, by the windows being high, the bullets would go over the head of his wife and children. Okay? And that's why you see these windows so high. Also, the door is on the side of the house. And the reason the door is on the side of the house instead of the front end of the house is they wanted to make it difficult for someone to be able to shoot them coming in or coming out the home. So one thing about Medgar Evers, he was very militaristically mature. Like, he's one of the few leaders we know who altered his home. He altered the way the home looked to make sure he could maximize protection for his family. So the door was put on the side of the house instead of the front of the house, and the windows were made higher. Medgar Evers was very, very serious. Medgar Evers knew that he would probably lose his life fighting for the people. You know what I mean? So this is why we got to take this Black Power thing seriously. This is why we can't play games with this. You know what I mean? A lot of y'all sit on YouTube and y'all talk black talk, but y'all don't do anything in the community. Let me say that again. A lot of people sit on YouTube talking black talk, but don't do anything in the community. Okay? We have to get to the business of activism. There's very little activism in the Black conscious movement. Very little activism. A lot of entertainment, a lot of gossip, slander, back and forth fighting, a lot of hustling, money making. Very little activism. Very little institution building. Very little system development. Okay, we got to get to the work, because there's no work. The conscious community has no work. It is all information sharing. Information sharing. We got to get away from information sharing. We got enough information, damn it. We got enough information. We got enough information. When are we going to get to organizing and consciousness raising? So now we want to do a little libation to the great Medgar Evers. So it's looking at me. It's on me now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So we want to do a libation to the great ancestor Medgar Evers. Dr. Umar is here, 10-year anniversary. I want to give a shout out to everybody who stood by me these 10 years, traveling, Kwanzaa. I can't believe this is my 10th Kwanzaa. 10 years that fast. The decade is ending, and we want to call on the great ancestor. But before we do, we're going to do our Yoruba libation. Okay, Omi tutu, ona tutu, ile tutu, tutu, geti nimbo, ashe, cool water, cool road, cool earth, cool geti nimbo, keeper of the ancestral gateway, ashe, oludumare ajuba gababu, equal lower t, mebelese ibara ti arun. We call on the supreme ruler of the universe and all of the Orun Malay, all of the righteous and divine spirits that inhabit the heavens with the most high God. Igu gababu, iku, tiku ni, Africa, Iba Arati Arun, we call on our ancestors from Africa, all the way back to the beginning of time. Names we know, names we don't know, all the way back to the continent, our African ancestors who are buried there on the continent. Iba Gababu Iku Tiku Ni Okun, Iba Arati Arun, we call on our ancestors who came through the Middle Passage, the worst human disaster in world history. Those who were raped, maimed, enslaved, beat, thrown overboard, starved to death, diseased, whatever the situation may be. We want to call on our ancestors during the quadricentennial, this 400 years of our experience in America as chattel, property, oppressed people. We want to remember all those ancestors who came over those waters and didn't just come over to the American waters, but went to the Caribbean waters, the British waters, Central South American waters. Ashe. Igu Bagbo Iku Tikuni Oroko Komo Iba Arati Adun. We call on those ancestors who here in America struggle to make things better for us. That would be Medgar Evers, Malcolm X, Dr. King, Nat Turner, Gabriel Prosser, Denmark Vesey, Harriet Tubman, Ida B. Wells, Fannie Lou Hamer, Sojourner Truth, Fred Hampton, Emmett Till, Trayvon Martin, Walter Scott, Sandra Bland, Eric Gardner, Tamir Rice, William Wells Brown, Henry Highland Garnett, Alexander Crummell, Bishop Henry McNeil Turner, James Fortin, Richard Allen, Absalom Jones, and we could go on and on and on and on and on. All those ancestors who came and fought, those who lived, those who struggled, and those who made their way better for us. Ashe. Iba Kababu Iko Tikuni, Aitutun, Iba Arati Adon. We call on all those ancestors, the ones whose names we don't know, and the names that we do know. We call on all the ancestors to come to be with us these 400 years to help us close out this decade and maybe go into the next decade in a more positive way, a more focused way, a more organizationally structured way, a more institutionalization way. I'm just hoping that we as the people get away from the social networking and the information sharing to some organizing and some institution building. Ashe. I want to call on Medgar Evers, who lost his life right here, and we want to let him know that we remember him. Ashe. I want to thank him for the work he did as a field secretary for the NAACP. I want to thank him for the work he did assisting in the investigation for the tragic Emmett Till murder. Ashe. I want to thank him for being a family man, a father, a son, a husband. Ashe. I want to thank him for being unapologetically African. I mean, living in Mississippi in the 1950s, 1960s, standing up against racism, oppression, prejudice. To do that was very bold. To do that was very bold. You know, and he took it upon himself to take the fight to the people, irregardless of the consequences. And you have to thank him, because he didn't have the big security force that Malcolm had. He didn't have all the pastors around him that Dr. King had. He wasn't up in, you know, Atlanta or Detroit or New York City. He was down here in Mississippi, okay, where it gets really real for black folks in Mississippi then and now. So we can't forget Medgar Evers, y'all. We cannot forget Medgar Evers. He did a job for our people. He did a job for the race. He did a job for the community. And although he's not buried here, they have him up in Arlington Cemetery because he was a war veteran. I forget what war he fought in, but he was a war veteran. So he's up in Arlington Cemetery. So when you have in the D.C. area, you make sure you go, you pay your respects to Medgar Evers when you pay your respects at the Frederick Douglass House, and pay your respects at the Carter G. Woodson House, and pay your respects at the African American Civil War Museum. So brothers and sisters, I want to close out by calling some of my ancestors, Father Belly, my Selah, my Jenny, my Betsy, Ashe, Grandpapa Isaac, Ashe. And my next ancestor, her name is Young Betsy Bailey. She's very significant for me in Mississippi. You know why? Because when my 4 times great-grandfather, Stephen Henry Bailey, the half-brother and first cousin of Frederick Douglass, while he was a child, his mother, my 5 times great-grandmother, Betsy Bailey, was snatched away from him and sold into slavery, deep into the South. And guess where they sent her? To Mississippi. So I have an ancestor that is buried somewhere in this state under the grounds. Somewhere in this state. We do not know where she is, but I want to call on my 5 times great-grandmother, young Betsy Bailey, and I want to call on her energy and her Ashe and all of my ancestors to come and help me with the work that I have to do to get this Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy up and running, to get the National Independent Black Parent Association up and running to build Team Pan-African in Black Wall Street, West Africa. Let's get that up and running to organize against all of the opposition and racism and marginalization that our people experience. Through Team Pan-African, we want to fix the prison situation, the miseducation situation, the gentrification situation, the access to wealth situation, the police genocide situation. So I want to call on young Betsy Bailey, my 5 times great grandmother buried here in Mississippi, Grandpop Stephen Henry Bailey, Ashe, Grandmom Caroline, Ashe, Grandpop George, Ashe, Grandmom Annie, Ashe, Mama Wayman, Papa Wayman, Charles Henry Wayman, Francis Wayman, Bishop Alexander Wayman, the 7th Bishop of the AME Church, from whom William Still inherited the Philadelphia Underground Railroad office, for those of y'all who saw that Harriet Tubman movie. Ashe. Uncle Fred, Ashe. Aunt Annie, Cousin Louis, Charles Rosetta, Fred Jr., Annie, Ashe. I want to call on Grandmom Caroline, Grandma Vivian, Grandpop Cicero, Grandmom Ida, Grandpop James, Uncle Clifford, Cousin Shanika, Great-Great-Grandmom Gertrude, Great-Great-Grandpop Charlie, Great-Grandmom Curly, Robert Shoemake Jr., Robert Shoemake Sr., Emma Hollinger, Delia Pratt, Isaac Johnson, Eileen Johnson, William Thomas Tillman, Uncle Billy, my Grandma Betty Jean Shoemake, who we lost last year. Ashe. I want to call on Uncle Eric and Uncle Dennis and Cousin Nancy and Baba Taharka and OBM and Big Brother Clifford. And I'm going to call on the ancestors of Gory Island that brought me into spirituality, and the ancestors of Elmina and Cape Coast Castle and Asin Mansour, and the ancestors of the 7 Seas, and the ancestors of all the continents, those who were enslaved, those who existed before slavery, those who lived after slavery, and those who are always coming into the world and going out of the world right now. Medgar Evers, we will not forget you. We will pick up your struggle. We ask you to come with us as we go into our 5th century in this country, as we go into our 3rd decade of the 21st century, as we go into the 1st year of the next decade. Ancestor, rise with us, fight with us, give us your wisdom, give us your guidance, give us your scholarship, give us your experience, talk to us through our dreams, talk to us through clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairaudience. Medgar Evers, we love you, we will never forget you, and we should all come here to Jackson, Mississippi to pay homage to Medgar Evers. Whenever you down in the South, when you in Mississippi, you make sure you come and you pay respect to this great black man. Never forget Medgar. We talk about Malcolm and Martin and Fred Hampton. Don't forget Medgar Evers. He was the first to be sacrificed of those big 4. With that being said, it's going down tonight. Medgar Evers Community Center right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Doors open up at 6. Bring the whole family. The Prince of Pan-Africanism is here. First time in 5 years. And then tomorrow night, Sanford, Florida. Rest in peace to Trayvon Martin. Tomorrow night, Sanford. That event is not free. Get your tickets at DrUmarJohnson.com. And then we in Detroit. We are in Detroit Monday, December the 30th. Charles Wright Museum. Free event. Program starts at 3. I will take the stage at 6. Here's what I want to say about Pahokee. Pahokee, Florida, I have canceled it. I will not be in Pahokee on Saturday, and I want to tell y'all why. I did a radio interview a couple days ago. The brother who